Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So, if there is one thing we all agree on is that payroll is complicated, right? So, what if it didn't have to be? So, today let's talk about how we can make payroll easy, scalable, and compliant without losing sleep over it. Now, here is what we are going to cover today. First, we will spend few minutes talking about why payroll continues to be hard, not just in theory, but in the day-to-day reality of running a business. And then we will touch upon the journey of Zoho Payroll and how we have been tackling these problems from day one with a product that is live and growing. And then followed by a quick walkthrough of the product in action. And then we will take a quick look at the product roadmap. So let's get started. So we will start right at the heart of the problem. Why is payroll hard? It can't be just compliance, right? We can't blame everything on compliance. It's a whole cocktail of challenges that comes with it. So let's go through it one by one. So one of the biggest, toughest reason payroll is difficult because the rules keep changing fast. Just when you get comfortable with the regulation, boom, there's a new update, new threshold, a new form that you've never heard of. So it's like trying to hit a moving target while blindfolded. And missing a change isn't a small mistake, right? It's a whole lot of explaining to do to the employees as well as to the organization. Then there is this fun of having employees spread across different states. It might sound simple until you realize that every state has its own tax laws, own filing deadlines, and sometimes they have their own version of standard deductions. So managing employees across different states feels a bit like having to attend 50 different parties and having to follow different dress codes at each one. And moreover, keeping up with who owes what, where, and when adds an extra layer of complexity where you cannot afford to go wrong. And payroll isn't just about cutting a check, it's about slicing the check into a dozen pieces. You have Section 125, retirement plans, health insurance, and then on the other side, you have child support, garnishments, etc. So as an employer, you will have to ensure every slice is in the exact right size. So managing all the deductions and benefits is like assembling a jigsaw puzzle where all the pieces are moving at once. And it doesn't stop at just regular pay, right? There are overtime allowances, your shift calculations, bonuses, commissions, etc. And every special pay comes with its own special formula. It's not as simple as hours times rate. It's more like hours times rate adjusted to the state rules, multiplied by industrial laws, and divided by whether the moon was full that night. Yeah. So these special pay scenarios may come and go, but they always bring extra work with them. And one of the biggest reasons payroll is tough because the payroll does not wait for anyone. Whether you're ready or not, that payday clock keeps ticking. And the stakes are extremely high. It's a high wire act where missing a deadline isn't an option for the employer or for the organization. And if you think your employees are patient when it comes to their paycheck, I would say think again, because payroll is invisible when done perfectly and it's unforgettable when it's not. And in many ways, the highest compliment you will ever get is silence on payday. So imagine all of this, a business managing all of this using a spreadsheet and calculator. At first, it may seem manageable, but as the business grows, the risk multiplies. Every manual step leads to a human error, and it can lead into a very expensive problem. So as we all agreed, payroll is critical and crucial. Hence, the right tools and systems can make all the difference for you. And then there is a special off-cycle pay scenario. So let be urgent termination or missed out bonuses or missed out time payouts. So these off-cycle payrolls can hit unexpectedly, but they still demand the same accuracy, speed, and compliance. So when you stack up all these challenges, you realize that your payroll teams aren't just processing pay, they are constantly firefighting with these processes. So how many of you here can write down the entire process involved in running a payroll from start to finish? That's perfect. So not many of us can do that, right? So let's take a quick look at what the actual process looks like. So a single month payroll run is actually a three-phase process, each with moving parts. And this slide breaks it down into the pre-payroll, the actual payroll processing, and post-payroll activities. So the pre-payroll is what I call the prep zone. Everything here sets the stage for accurate payroll. And if anything goes wrong here, the core payroll will fail. And then, so this is what I consider as a building the foundation. And then the payroll processing itself, which is the core engine of the payroll operation. So here is where the ad hoc inputs such as the earnings, your last minute deductions, your timesheet entries are added, and then the salaries are recalculated again based on that. So here is where precision matters most. Even a small error snowballs fast, and you're not done right after calculating the salaries, right? What comes after is just as critical. And this post-payroll operation is crucial for communication, closure, and of course, compliance. So given how complex the payroll is, here's the truth. Payroll operations can never be siloed. It's not a standalone function because it sits right at the intersection of HR and finance teams. So as my boss mentioned yesterday in the keynote, any modern finance application should go past features. It should be collaborative, connected, and compliance first. And here's a number that surprises most people. Over 4,000 changes to tax regulations have been made in the last decade. That's your federal, state, county, and local taxes, covering everything from your filing deadlines, your deduction tables, your thresholds, your forms, you name it, it's there. And these changes has a direct or indirect impact on payroll. And that is the reason why payroll operations can never be considered as a background task. It's a live evolving function which always needs constant attention. So keeping all this in mind, Zoho has built a payroll solution that simplifies the payroll process, grows with your business, and also stays compliant with the evolving regulation. Since the moment we launched payroll in the US, the real world problems that we talked earlier started showing up in our inboxes, while on customer calls, and during onboarding sessions. So businesses came to us with complex pay schedule, multi-state tax questions, and sometimes with the forgotten PTO calculations. So that's when we realized that businesses didn't need just a software, they needed clarity. And that's where Zoho Payroll started clicking for us. So customers started moving from their spreadsheet and patchwork systems to a more unified and a predictable solution. And here is the most encouraging part is customers didn't need months to see results. With one or two pay cycles, their payroll operations gotten smoother. So what made that shift exactly possible, right? So if you take the core of any payroll system, it's precision and speed. So with Zoho Payroll, you'll be able to now manage multi-pay rates for the employees. So you don't have to worry about, you can sit laid back and system does the calculations for you. You can add a primary and secondary job and system takes care of it. And then we have also launched the option to automate salary transfers, your filings, your forms are filed directly from within the application, including your taxes on time. And payroll in the US is different, right? It doesn't stop at just one set of rules. Every state speaks its own language, and now we speak all of them. So I'm very excited to announce that Zoho Payroll is now compliant to manage employees across different states in a single payroll account. So this is one of the features that was missing for a long time, and we were very much aware of it. And now is the time we wanted to launch. So this is the first time we are launching this after the release. So I'm very glad to do that. And then we also understand that payroll is not just an admin task. For employees, it's deeply personal. It's their paycheck. So we have also concentrated on that experience to make it more intuitive, transparent, and mobile first. So where we really shine is how Zoho Payroll works hand in hand with the rest of the Zoho's ecosystem. So no connectors, no third-party plugins, just a direct integration with a real-time sync. So Zoho Payroll is not built to live in a silo. It speaks natively with Zoho Books and Zoho Expense, With Zoho Books, as and when your payroll is complete, the transactions are automatically posted, the journal entries. Apart from that, we will also be posting the manually added transactions to the respective bank accounts for you to reconcile it. Apart from that, businesses can organize the chart of accounts to track the liabilities and expenses as per your organization policy. And so it isn't just an integration, it's what happens when your payroll and account speaks to each other in the same language. And now with Zoho payroll and expense integration, the handoff is seamless. Any approved business reimbursement in Zoho expense would flow straight into Zoho payroll in the upcoming parent. It's a small one, but a powerful one because it's one less thing for HR or finance to worry about. And as I said, Zoho payroll is not built to be in isolation. It's set for a bigger picture, right? It's a part of Zoho One. So Zoho payroll is a part of Zoho One now. But as of now, it's only for a single state. If your organization is operating from one single state, then you'd be able to use Zoho payroll from here. But we are also trying to include the multi-state option within that. So that is something. And it's also a part of Finance Plus, where it bridges the gap between the HR and finance teams. And Finance Plus is the only platform where it offers payroll among its core finance applications. So now we have seen how Zoho Payroll fits into a bigger picture. Now let's take a look at all of this in a product demo. So to make it more real, I've come out with a fictitious company, Zilker Coffee Roasters. They are based in California and the employees are spread across different states and different roles where multi-pay rates come in. So we'll take a look at it. And these are the challenges they've been facing before moving into Zoho Payroll. So any growing business, Zilker had their own fair of headaches, starting with their multi-state complexities to juggling between spreadsheets and then late night emails from employees requesting for the pay slips. So let's see how we have solved all of this in the product. All right, so most of you would have been familiar with the UI of Zoho Books, right? So it looks similar. All the finance applications almost look similar. So the same way as an admin, when you log into Zoho Payroll, this is going to be the landing page and we call this the dashboard. So for Zilker, it gives a quick snapshot of the company's overall payroll activities. So starting with the upcoming parent, any pending parents, and then they can also view the summary of the outstanding liabilities for the federal and state tax, to the active employees in the organization, and also it breaks the exempt and non-exempt employees, and followed by a graphical representation of the payroll expenses, which would allow Zilker's finance team to know how the expenses have been distributed. And on the left side is where we have the key modules, where your day-to-day process would go. And on the right side is where we have the to-do task. So in case of any pending work items for approval, the admins would be notified through this. So we had provided Zilker with a getting started wizard to guide them through a step-by-step process to have their account set up and ready for the first parent. So that starts with their organization profile. So here is where we capture the basic details of the organization. So starting with their filing location, the industry type, legal structure, etc., which is required for the compliance. And then here is where they can add the work location. So since they operate from different work locations within the US and they have a small marketing team which operates from Florida and Texas, they were able to add the work locations here after opening up the multi-state option. And then the taxes. So the federal is applicable for everyone. So that's straightforward within the Zoho payroll. And based on the state that you have selected under the work location, system automatically pulls the state tax information, wherein if applicable for the particular state. So the payroll teams have to just define these numbers and they can quickly move forward with the configuration. And we offer 4 to 5 different pay frequencies for the employees to choose from, starting with weekly to quarterly. And with Zilker, they decided to go with a bi-weekly to pay the hourly and salaried employees on time. And first pay period is where you let the system know which was your first parent using Zoho payroll. Let's say you move mid-year to Zoho, it would allow you to bring in the prior payroll data. Whatever has been paid until now, you can bring that in an Excel sheet, have them uploaded here. so that we will use that information to generate your forms and taxes on time within the system. Paid time off policies can be configured, and the same can be modified at the employee level. So based on department or designation, these vacation leave policies and PTOs can be modified at the employee level while you onboard them into the system. So system comes with a set of default components which are commonly used here, like the regular pay, overtime, double time, etc. And we also have an option for you to create more earnings from the list. So if you want to create any variable earnings, you would be able to create them at any time, and you can make use of it in the upcoming pay runs for the respective employees. And you can also choose if it's a taxable or a non-taxable earning. We have the flexibility to do that. And you can create your deductions starting with child support or garnishments. It can be a one-time or a recurring deductions. You can create them at any point of time. Similarly, your benefits. So we have a separate module inside Payroll for benefits where you can choose to create multiple benefits from the dropdown, starting with your cafeteria plan, your retirement plan, your flexible FSA, etc. And once you have created the benefit, you can enroll the employees from here or while onboarding them into the system. So both the options are available. And the catch-up contributions for these benefits are automated here. And we have a direct deposit option now. So here is where we capture the bank account details of the Zilker organization from which the salaries are debited. So that's captured. So with this, the account setup is complete. So this is a one-time configuration. Initially, when you sign up for the product, you would have to go through this and then you're good to go. The next step is to onboard the employees. So here is where we capture the employees' information. So we have an option to add the employees manually, or you can do a bulk import of it to update the details. So let's take this employee for example. So we have basic information and then the W-4 details for federal and state tax, followed by the personal information and the bank account of the employees, followed by the compensation details. So here is where you can define whether the employee is an exempt or non-exempt employee, and you can modify this. And this would be the primary job role. And apart from that, if the employee has multiple job roles within the same organization, then you can create multiple earnings from here. So I can create a new role and I can associate the same with this particular employee. And you can also view under the compensation tab, you can view all the benefits that the employee is associated to and also the deductions part, followed by the vacation and sick leave, the PTOs. So with this, the employee onboarding is complete, which means the pre-payroll activities are completed. So the next step is to process your payroll, and pay runs is where you'll have to come every month to process your payroll. So as soon as the account is set up and ready, your payroll would be in the ready status like this. So with just a single click, you will be able to generate your payroll, and it gives you the entire summary of this particular pay run. So you can view the total payroll cost, the employee's net amount that you would be paying, active number of employees, and you can also see the tax summary of split up, both employee-wise and employer-wise split up of the transactions. So that includes all your state, federal, FICA, unemployment, etc. And you can also view the benefit summary, both employee and again employer-wise contribution. And under the employee summary is where you can add the regular, if you want to add any overtime or double time, those can be added manually, or we have the import option to do that. And if an employee has a multiple job role, you can add the details from here. So let's say Michael has worked as a head barista and also as a store manager. I can add the secondary job and I can make the payment to that. So I'm just doing it for one employee manually, but this can be updated in bulk. And if you want to update the sick or vacation hours, all that can be updated, and system calculates that instantly, and it gives you the calculation of the taxes and everything based on the inputs provided. So once everything is done, we have a single level make it check it process where the first team can create the payroll, provide all the inputs, and then they can submit it, and it can go to the next level for the approval. So once that is verified, the next team can approve the payroll and keep it ready. So if you see, since I have enabled direct deposit, for me to process this payroll, I'll have to approve this before May 16th. So you'll be notified, and once you have approved the payroll, automatically the direct transfer would start from here. So it will get initiated. Okay. I'll be able to approve only on May 16th, so I'll have to wait until then. Since it's a test account, it got approved. So now, once the payroll is approved, like I said, the transaction would get initiated, and then once the payment has been credited to the employees, the status of the parent would be updated as paid. So this is how the regular payroll would work. And similarly, we have an option to create off-cycle payroll, which you can create outside of your regular pay schedule. You can choose whether you want this as a weekly or semi-weekly, bi-monthly. You can choose the pay schedule, and then you can process separately. So let's say I can choose to include the benefits and deductions in this if has to be deducted. And then I can include the respective employees. Not everyone would be eligible for an off-cycle parent. So you can choose which employee, you can add the details, and you can process this separately. So once the payroll has been processed, your taxes and forms are automatically generated. Your taxes are lined up here. So it's in the pending status. And once before hitting the deadline, automatically the transactions would be directly filed to the respective authorities, and the e-payments are done through this as well. And this will, once this is funded, it will move here to the completed state. Similarly, forms have not been generated yet. It would take a quarter to generate the form. So once that is done, the filings are also facilitated from within the application. So that has also been taken care. And then under the reports, we have a set of comprehensive reports that you can choose to filter and export at any point of time in different formats. The frequently asked reports would be the pay summary report, and then the benefits summary. And you can click on any benefits and it will get drilled down, and you can view the employees and employer-wise contribution over here. And then we have the activity logs, and we are also working on an audit trail report that would gives you the previous transaction and current transaction, the numbers. So this is the employer's admin side of it. If you move into the employees portal, this is how the employee self-service portal would look like, which also comes as a mobile application. So starting, this is the dashboard where they can view the numbers. Right now the numbers are hidden. So they can see the graphical representation of their sick, vacation, and the salary breakdown. And here is where they can view the basic details. It's right now it's in the read-only mode, and we would enhance it where allowing employees to edit that information in the future. And as and when you edit the W4 information of an employee, the employees can verify it from the ESS portal here. Compensations can be viewed, and here is a sample pay stub. And this is for the employees with self-service portal, and you can also choose to disable them in case you have a blue-collar employee who will not have access to the system, or if you don't want to enable that, you can always keep this portal disabled for them. So this is the product at high level, and probably after the session, we can also have a one-on-one where we can set up a complete detailed walkthrough of it. So now going back to the presentation. Yeah, so this is how we have solved the multi-state option and the multi-pay rates for the organizations now. So it's in the early access, and in case if you want to try it out and give us a feedback, we would be happy to take it up. And so the results we have seen until now, since we are not able to directly provide the company's name, we have enabled this multi-state option for a couple of companies for the last few months, and they were able to run the payroll smoothly without any manual errors, and they were able to file and make the payments as well from within the Zoho payroll application. So we also provide a personalized onboarding. If you're switching from a spreadsheet or from another system, we would be happy to help you move from that with our onboarding support. And then there is a dedicated support desk with just a call or email away. So you can reach out to us, and a detailed customization assistance so that you can set up your account as per your policy and not the other way around. And in case if you want to train your employees on the payroll session, we also host product trainings on Zoho Payroll, where you can also join the session and have your team join this and speed up with the process. This is the first time we are presenting payroll after the launch, so I would be happy to hear any feedback on this. positive, negative, we would take it and improvise. And the next time we come back stronger. So please do leave your feedback. Take a few minutes and leave us the feedback. Thank you.